Hey everyone, this is the Crazy Spartan, and today I am talking about maps for Halo 5 multiplayer. Now, this is a fun topic if you ask me. I have always enjoyed Halo's campaign. I can recall playing through most of them 3 to 4 times each. If you're like me, however, you will still spend most of your time in matchmaking, capturing flags, running bombs, claiming hills, and racking up kills, all to claim victory over your opponents. Now that brings me to the subject at hand, and that is good maps. So what makes a good map? Honestly, in my opinion, in Halo, more than any other game out there, I would have to say balance. Take, for instance, some of everyone's favorite maps. Now, I will examine only a couple of these in the interest of time, but one of the obvious ones is the Pit from Halo 3. Now, this was an incredible arena for playing in. It was well balanced. Each team would make a rush for the rockets or sword, and each team had an equal chance of getting them. Now take a look at Haven from Halo 4. It is almost always selected when it shows up in matchmaking. Now with the latest update, the map weapon drops, it plays even better in my opinion. However, maps such as High Ground or from Halo 3 was asymmetrical, and yet it was still balanced. The map was intentionally set up for games like One Flag, Assault, and things like that. Now, whatever side you spawned on gave no distinct advantage to the teams. Now, there were always ways into the base that were sneaky, like the crack in the wall, or more direct by using the grav lift equipment. You could jump over the wall. Defending, you had the high ground that gave you a wide view of the map. A door that had to be opened from the inside. A Spartan laser to take out those crazy ghosts that are running around. The point is this. Symmetrical, asymmetrical, balanced maps equal good times for all. So what do we want in Halo 5 maps? I have a few ideas I would like to hear your thoughts as well. Leave comments below on what you would like to see for Halo 5 maps. All right, number one. I would like to see at least 16 maps on disk and about 3 to 5 pre-made forged maps in playlists. In my opinion, one of Halo 4's biggest problems was that it was launched with only 10 maps in matchmaking. And since only 4 of the 10 could be considered small maps, the gameplay became pretty stale rather quickly. Now, having a large number of maps really opens up the players up to a more variety in the game. Now, DLC is great to have, but you should have to wait until it releases. And not everyone buys it, so you can't play on those maps very often unless it is a DLC required playlist. 343 is pretty dead set against having a DLC requirement, so they need to have a good batch of maps right from the get-go. Number 2. I want to see interactive maps return. Now, what does that mean? Well, you remember maps like Last Resort? There was a button to open the heavy hangar door and a latch up on the windmill that would drop the bridge so you could easily access the active camo power-up. Heck, the windmill itself was a fun little feature. Now, that is what I'm talking about. This has been lacking since Halo 3. I can't recall any map in Halo Reach or Halo 4 that has had that simple idea. A few low gravity areas, but nothing that you can directly control. Now, Halo 3 had several maps that had that option. Standoff, High Grounds, Last Resort, to mention a few. If I'm missing some, please let me know. Number 3, dynamic maps. Now, I'm going to use Last Resort as a quick example again. Now, if you remember, in the back room of the building, there was a generator. Now, what if that generator was building up a charge of some kind, and at certain times during the map, it would discharge, and if any Spartan was caught in the immediate vicinity, they would either lose their shields, or if they didn't have shields, it would kill them. Now, for competitive reasons, this wouldn't be a map to choose for tournaments, but for online play, it would be great. Now, you could use any number of things to make the maps themselves come alive. Like, how about the map Condemned from Halo Reach, the one with the low gravity area in the center? Now, what if it doesn't start off like that? What if you get an explosion or some kind, and then it becomes a low gravity area, or you destroy something, and then it does that? The goal is to tell a story while you are getting your killing sprees. Number 4, weather and lighting effects. Now, this is a great addition for forgers. I have seen some forge users really take advantage of the very limited options we have now. Imagine what they could do with some real tools to use in this area. Think of the map Standoff in Halo 3. Now imagine it if you had a storm brewing, lightning in the sky, or maybe a fog setting in, or snow falling with traces on the ground. This doesn't change the plane of the map in any way, just the overall mood it would convey. Now think of your favorite map, then add a time of day effect like night, noon, or evening. It would change your map dramatically, even though it is the same map. For those of you that like flood or infection games, this would be extremely interesting to the development of your maps. Remakes. I personally enjoy remakes of old maps. Other people don't. I think it would be a great idea if 343 put out a poll of some kind that had a list of possible maps they would remake for us in Halo 5, and we could vote on it. Now, this would be a great show of love for the fans, in my opinion. I don't think this will happen, but I can dream. Now, if they did, I would expect them to hide the results, though, until the time to start revealing the maps comes around. All right, number 6, Forge. Now, this is a whole subject unto itself, but I will cover a few things that I feel should be addressed. First off, we need a different textures for all the pieces we are given. For instance, if you load up a map like Sandbox, the pieces look like sandstone. Or if you load up Foundry, you get the pieces that are more industrial. Forge World 2.0, you get several options, such as UNSC themed, or Forerunner, or Covenant to choose from. This could be a palette you could select in your in-game options before you actually go into Forge. Second, a way to link pieces together into Forge, or into one piece, and save the whole thing into a custom palette. Now let me explain that a little bit. Say you take the time to construct a Pelican in Forge. You could then link all the pieces together so you don't have to make it ever again. It will be in your custom palette to pull from at any time on any map. Now I could easily see file sharing filling up with those people that do those crazy things. Now third, a massively increased budget for you to use. Now this doesn't need much explaining other than the more budget you have, the more creativity you can get. Now fourth, now I mentioned it a little earlier, but we need Forge World 2.0. 343 gave us Forge Island, which is great, and I really do appreciate that they did that and the fact that it was free. But Forge World had much more variety in the landscapes to choose from. If you wanted a beach map, there was a beach. If you wanted an indoor map, you had that large hangar bay zone to use. The only problem I saw with Forge World, other than the bland green and gray color scheme, was that there was no truly flat space. So take Forge World and add one of those mushroom things from Forge Island, and I think that would clear up that problem rather easily. Now, fifth, buttons. One thing that we would really incredibly like to have, since the beginning of Forge World, I think, is buttons. Buttons that you can link to certain pieces like doors, shields, gravity lifts, conveyor belts, or whatever else 343 can come up with. Now those items would then perform some sort of simple tasks like open the door, close it, activate shields, change the direction of a conveyor belt, or turn things on and off, just a few things. Now this would bring a whole new batch of ideas for dedicated forgers. Now, I could easily see a map such as Elongation being recreated, which is one of my favorite maps, especially from Halo CE. I mean, I loved that map capture the flag and everything else. It was just fun to play on. Alright, and lastly, I would like to see maps that are destructible. I'm not talking about being able to blow a hole in the wall and using it for a new entrance. I'm talking about battle damage to general environment. Now, if there is like monitors in a room and rockets or bullets or whatever hit them, they stop working, short out for the rest of the game. Barricades take damage and get worse over time. I'll think of the map. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I think it's Penance, I want to say. It was a Covenant water plant from Halo Reach Anniversary. Again, I can't think of the name off the top of my head. But let's say there's a control board of some kind and a grenade hits it. Then it would open up some floodgates and the water would start filling into the deep cavern up to the bottom portion of the playable map area. Now, this changes nothing about the map. However, it does add a real feel of something happening, and it's directly resulted as to the Spartans fighting in the area. Well, that is about it for my major map ideas as to what I would like to see in Halo 5. Now that leaves me to ask you a question. What would you like to see in Halo 5 maps? Of course, leave comments below. If you like this video, please leave a like because this helps my channel so much, and don't forget to subscribe. You can count on my channel to continue to put out Halo 4 and Halo 5 news as it comes in. This is the Crazed Spartan, and I am out of here.